M.Beezy.
Going on, man?
What's happening, man? What's happening? What's going
No
on?
idea, man. Getting this work in.
I feel you, bro. First, I wanna thank you for taking the time out to sit with me. I know that you got a real busy schedule, a lot of things going on for you, and though we are good friends, I still respect a man's time, and so you give me some of your time. I definitely wanted to get this exclusive interview. I've seen some interviews you've done before, but I know when I spoke to you on the phone last week and told you the type of interview that I wanted to do, raw and uncut, and just
Right.
to the bottom of things. I was glad that you was obliged to do it. The one thing I have to say, man, is who is M.Beezy? You know, who just tell me who this man is.
Oh man, M.Beezy, man, that's a man first, you know what I'm saying? The man respect at all times, you know, humble, you know what I mean? And another person that love to see people shine at all times, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Okay.
just a
Okay.
humble man and respect, man.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I guess you can understand me asking it because I live in Gainesville, Florida.
Okay.
And what I do in this entertainment business kind of takes me a little bit of everywhere.
Right.
Especially throughout the Southeast region. And as I've been moving around, the last couple of years, definitely the last 14 to 16 months, it's M.Beezy, M.Beezy, M.Beezy. I was seeing the name, I was seeing the logo, I was hearing the music, and at first I wasn't really focusing in on the music.
Right.
Okay. But I was sucked in by the movement, and that's some things that we don't see a lot. We see a lot of smoke and mirrors. We see a couple brush fires and
Right.
stuff like that, but we don't ever really see it happen as big as I was seeing you get it done
Right.
with the whole M.Beezy movement. So by me being in Tallahassee and coming a lot and visiting my friend T.J. Chapman and coming to his events, TJ's DJ's music conference, the M.Beezy thing just wouldn't leave my mind.
Right, right.
And so eventually I like, well, I guess I'm branding. I guess it's what they taught us, you know, in school about marketing and branding.
Mhm.
You definitely did your job on that.
Right.
And but after finding out about the man and hearing the music, which by the way, I just want to compliment you. I love your music. I'm definitely a fan.
Appreciate it.
And I feel a little bit I feel a little bad that I waited so long to get to it. You know what I'm saying? I usually always pay attention at first sight, but they call you the 850 ghetto superstar.
Right.
And not that I don't know if you know this, well, you probably do know because you know everything that goes on in your hood. I was kind of hanging out in your hood, which was a rough journey
Okay.
for me. You know,
Straight up.
fortunately I knew a couple of your guys
Right.
and everything was good. But your street credibility, man, is unbelievable.
Right, right.
This is unbelievable. I mean, it's like even before the whole entertainment
Right.
music thing, and I was impressed. Me being a person that's willing to give props where they are. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed. So just tell me, how did the 850 ghetto superstar thing start?
Well, what with the 850 Ghetto Superstar thing was first of all, it was just me being me from day one. You know what I'm saying? Not getting caught up with what they do. You know what I'm saying? Always doing me. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And when anybody just do them, you know what I mean? Without being a follower, you gotta follow at sometimes, but more so being a leader. You're gonna get a lot of people to follow what you're doing and start learning how to do their own thing. You see what I'm saying? So whether it was in the streets or whatever it was, man, I just did me. You know what I'm saying? And gave respect to the OGs at all times. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
So when I did get into the music, getting into the music was being at Tallahassee, we the capital city. We never really got respect for the talent that we had in our city. You know, Florida always get overshadowed with more so other cities or whatever. So being that it's the capital, man, and I knew how much talent we had, I jumped in on like a mixtape thing that we call mic checking that I learned from Jam Pony.
Okay,
You know,
Jam Pony, okay.
yeah, at the end of the day, I give like a whole lot of my success and credit to Jam Pony because they're the ones who inspired me to even get into music
Okay.
after my daddy, you know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
So, you know, like, I got into that, what we call mic checking, and created my own style with it. And the reason I did it was to slip artists that I knew had talent on my mixtapes. So what I do, I draw the people in to listen at me mic check, but I slip a T-Pain, you know, a Total Chaos or the Dirt Dogs or, you know, whoever was rapping at the time on my mixtapes, bam, to get their songs out there. So bam, after that, you know, I took off and I got a bigger name for pushing others as well as pushing myself. And I became the 850 Ghetto.
So you were mic checking, doing some DJ.
Yeah, it could be called DJing, but I would never let people call it DJing.
Okay.
Because it was more so the words that I was using over other people's words that I got all the credit for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It wasn't just hollering and like a DJ and scratching and mixing. It was doing it all, but you know what I'm saying, mixing my words with other rappers' words. You know what I mean?
I've seen you do that
Right.
A couple times, and I was really impressed.
Yeah,
I was impressed as hell. You know what I'm saying? So what you basically did through this movement that you had, mic checking, and you doing the mixtape, you were putting a lot of local artists on the tapes.
That was my plan.
Yeah.
That was my way to drop a Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying, or a Trick Daddy big record, and then sneak one of the artists that I love from my city in. You feel what I'm saying? When I mix it in, you just keep riding to the who is that guy? Even if you don't know him, I got a great ear for music, so I just pick out, you know what I'm saying, the best record that whoever my partners had at the time.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good to me.
Right.
Well, let me say this to you. There's a lot of hoopla that's going on.
Right.
M.Beezy, and this all started in Tallahassee, but now it's starting to spread. As I move around, I'm starting to see that it's going over to southeast Georgia, southwest Georgia. You know, just maybe 100 miles or so up across the Florida line.
Right.
Southern Alabama finally starting to get a tip of it.
Right.
But Florida, the tastemakers in Florida, when you talk about the T.J. Chapmans,
Right.
you know, the bigger rankings, and I can quote a conversation I had with T.J. Chapman. He said, hey, I really think that M.Beezy could be the next big thing. He said he loved your music. He said he loved your grind.
Right.
He said he loved the movement, the team that you have. And TJ is not easily impressed.
Yeah.
So when he gave me the phone call about you, that was a big deal. And then bigger ranking, one of our top Florida DJs. You know how everybody respect him in our state and now outside our state. And he had a talk with me 3 weeks ago, and was telling me that you were really, really looking good with what you had going. And he was also telling me that he heard your music for quite some time, but what he's hearing in the last 60 days or so, it just really, really caught his attention with the fact that you released so many records.
Right.
You know, you've done the mixtape, you released records that was on the mixtape, records that nobody had heard on the mixtape.
Oh, yeah.
You just throwing music everywhere, and it's working. It's working, man. I mean, so are you just like in the studio all the time? I mean,
no, like to be honest with you, man, I really don't like the studio, to be honest with you. I don't really like the studio. I ain't one of those guys that just sit and live in the studio for weeks and weeks and weeks. But when I do go in the studio, I'm the type of person, man, I write in the car, and a lot of times I don't write. So when I go in the studio, I might do 4 or 5. You know what I mean? But it ain't like I sat in and wrote 4 or 5 in the studio. I had 4 or 5 ready to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then let's say if I go in the studio, do 4 or 5, I already probably had 20 ready. Okay. Before I went in the studio. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. No problem.
You know, it's like you got 20 ready already in the clip, and you ready to let them go. You know, I say if I get off and let 9 of them go, I'm putting 9 more together. Music gonna be unstoppable.